Today our topic in personal development is heredity, environmental and situational influences on personality development. Let's see how these three factors influence in the development of our personality. Heredity is the passing of genetic traits from parent to offsprings. As I have told you before, today our topic is to discuss whether a person's personality is based on magnitude of genetic or an environmental influence. So, how heredity and environmental influences influence on personality development. So, we will see what how these heredity and the environmental influences affect on the our personality. Now first let's define these both the terms. Heritability is a statistical measure that expresses the proportion of the observed variability in traits that is a direct result of genetic variability. So basically this is the uh, change or differentiation which our genes brought into our personality. Environmental influences can be divided into two classes: shared and non-shared environment. So environment is the situation or the surroundings which influence our personality. So there are two different kind of environment types. One is shared environment, consists of those environments shared by siblings as a result of growing up in the same family. For example, family values and the child rearing practices may be common across siblings. And number two is the non-shared environments, consist of those environments that are not shared by siblings growing up in the same family. So in a family some environments are shared while we are living in the same house or under the same roof, but sometime when we are going away or living in the hostel or working different places or having different environments, so we have not shared environment. So these are like two different kind of environments, whereas heredity is the that different genes bringing us the different personality in one child or in one person. The second, let's see how do heredity and environment affect the personality. After defining heredity and environment, let's see how they affect our personality. What makes individuals unique? As we know that we are all unique. In the previous lecture we have discussed that. Most would say a person's personality make them who they are. So our personality is the reflection of our life or our personality, what the traits we have. Let's take a look at how personalities are affected by one's environment. So let's see how environment changes are affecting our personality. In doing so, we are going to see how personality is defined. So like we have already defined the personality in our previous lectures, then we will examine the different types of personalities and how they can be determined, then the type of personalities, and next we will see how genetic and heredity can play a role in shaping personalities along with the environment. Lastly, the factor in our environment that shape our personality. So basically these are the four different topics of these lectures are. So one is personality definition, then different type of personalities, and then how genes and genetic and heredity is playing a role in our shaping our personality, and the last one is the factors in our environment that affect our personality. So let's first define the personality. Personality can be defined as a dynamic, organized set of characteristics possessed by a person that uniquely influences our cognitions, means the way a person thinks, then motivation, how they got motivation, and the behavior in various situations, that how they behave in different situations. So basically in personality, or it is a set of characteristics that, like we have already discussed, which determine which make how we think about things, how we get motivated, and how we behave. There are some fundamental characteristics of a personality. Those are generally a recognizable order and regularity to behaviors. People act in the same way or similar ways in a variety of situations. Personality is psychological, but research suggests that it is also influenced by biological processes and needs. Personality does not just influence how we move and respond in our environment, it also causes us to act in a certain ways. So personality is displayed in more than just behavior. It can also be seen in our thoughts, feelings, close relationships, and other social interactions. So personality, it is some people act in the same ways or similar ways in a variety of situations. Sometimes they react in different situation. Is a more our personality is a there are two parts. One is our psyche and other is our body. So one is psychological and other is a biological. So then personality does not influence just the way we move or respond in our environment. It also causes us to act in a certain ways. So, and there is a personality is displayed more than just a behavior. So it is a holistic our reaction or our behavior or our total the way we move in the society. It can also be seen in our thoughts. Yeah, it is not only our body but is our thoughts, feelings, and how we act in our close relationships in a social interactions. The next is the types of personality. Most people would agree that personality is unique to an individual person. So, like we have already discussed, and we know that each personality, each person is a different personality, has a different personality. But again, with so many people in this world, we have like more than 7 billion people, it would be far-fetched to believe that there is a different types of personalities. So it is very difficult to find that each have a different personality. For this reason, we have categorized the personality into different types. So according to psychologists, these categories are traditional oriented, inner directed, or other director personalities. So these are like three different kind of types of personalities. Let's see what they are. Uh, the tradition-oriented personality is one that places a strong emphasis on doing things the same way that they have always been done. So traditionally, like we say, it is very traditional. So traditional means the way we are doing the things always in the past. So we call it is a like our personality is very traditional oriented personality, since we are doing our action or behavior or feelings or thinking is a traditional way. Individuals with this sort of personalities are less likely to try new things and to seek new experiences. So traditional oriented personality is more common in small scale societies and in some subculture of the large scale ones. So these personalities are, they are believing in a status quo. They always work according to their traditions way. They are very traditional, and it means they are very predictable, and usually they are living in a small towns, small places, and like in our rural areas, most of the people come from rural area. They are their behavior or their actions are very traditional. You have all familiar with this. If you come from a traditional family, it means that you are not doing anything which is against the rules or regulations or the traditions of the a family. So the next type is inner directed personality. Those who have inner directed personalities are guilt oriented. So their behavior is strongly controlled by their conscience. So they work according to their conscious, say they don't want to do anything which hurt their conscience. As a result, there is a little need for police to make sure that they obey the law. So they are law-abiding citizen. Most of the people, they follow the laws, rules and regulations, because if they break some law, they think that they may be hurt their conscience. These individuals monitors themselves, that they are like self-monitoring people. They, according to rules and law, if they break the law, they are likely to turn themselves in for a punishment. If by accident or incident something happened wrong with them, they just go and they declare that to, well, this thing happened by us, and if you want to give us a punishment, so just give us. Inner director personalities are said to be more common in some large scale societies, especially once those are culturally homogeneous. So they are, if they are like same kind of people living, so they are more like conscious oriented, or they are like guilt oriented people. So they monitor themselves, they follow the rules and regulations, and usually they are good people. Uh, in contrast, other directed personalities are in contrast of people who, with other directed personalities, have ambiguous feeling about right or wrong. You can say they are like they don't have clear path. Like traditional people, they are following their forefathers, their fathers, their ancestors, and then directed personality people, they follow their conscious. But here in this, they don't follow the tradition, they don't follow the conscience. For this reason, they kind of they have a big ambiguous, they're kind of confused feeling about right and wrong. They couldn't find that which is right and what is wrong and what is right. When they deviate from a societal norm, they usually don't feel guilty. If they do anything which is not normal, so they don't feel guilty. They are not like unconscious people, they don't feel that it is a guilt, so they don't feel guilty. However, if they are caught in act or exposed publicly, they like to feel shame. So they have some kind of feelings or sense that if someone catch them doing something wrong, so they feel shame or guilty. In contrast, other directed personalities like to be found in culturally diverse, large-scale societies in which they are not a uniformity. Mean they they are in the large metropolitan cities, and they are like not very like big cities. They are like living in those society, they are not very traditional. So some believe that one person can have traits more than one of the personality types. So usually it is also believed that people have more than one trait. They are not like you cannot divide them in the blocks or in the. After discussing about the types of personality, let's see what shapes the personality of a person. The question is that, is it the genes that shapes a person's personality, or personalities are formed by hereditary traits? Is the environment we live in the primary factor that gives us personality? So these are like questions: is it genes, or is it hereditary traits, or environment? Which one influence our in our personality uh, to make us how our develop our personality? So let's see, is the environment we live in is the is the primary factor that gives us our personality. So Ruth Benedict, beginning in the 1920s, believes that personalities were almost entirely learned by our environment. So the psychologist Ruth Benedict in early 20s uh, believes that personality was almost completely uh, is influenced by our environment. Benedict said that our cultural personality patterns are assumed to be natural by us, and other personality patterns are viewed as being the unnatural and deviant. So she believes that our personality is by developed by our environment, and the other is by and the other is unnatural and it is deviant from our environment. She said that such feelings are characteristics of all the people in all the cultures because we are ethnocentric. So ethnocentric mean we are always going toward or inclined toward our motherhood or our race, our ethnicity. So we do the things, our characteristics are based on our culture. Some people could be typified as being aggressive, prone to violence, and seeking extreme emotional state. She studies like two different groups in different environment, and she thinks or her research result was that some people could be aggressive or they are inclined toward violence or they are extreme in emotion states. So when they are emotionally disturbed or when they are emotionally triggered, they react very extremely. And in opposite to that, some people are opposite to those behaviors or those characteristics. They are maybe more peaceful, they are not non-violent or non-aggressive, or they are very sober in their personality. Sober mean calm and peaceful. So both depends upon the environment they live. That was the result of our studies. Uh, the environment is everything that affects the individuals except his gene. So it is the environment which is affecting or which is influencing our personality except our genes. So we know environment even can change our genes. That is called mutation, but that takes like millions of years. So there are many potential environmental influence that help to shape personality. So we know there are a lot of factors in environment which shapes or build our personality. These include the place we live and the people around us, and mainly they are it is environment is consist of the place, physical surrounding, and the people who are around us or who are close to us. Our experiences in our day-to-day life, as well as people whom we associated with, such as our family, friends, people in school, in religious places, and the community as a whole, all influencing our personality. So our day-to-day experiences with the people who are associated with us, including our family, friends, and people in school or colleges or universities or the community is influencing us. Boys and girls are socialized differently to some extent in all societies. So this is another thing. They have observed that boys and girls are they react differently in almost in all societies. They receive different messages from their parents and other adults as to what is appropriate for them to do in the life. So they are getting different kind of instructions or messages uh, from their parents or from their siblings. They receive different like from their parents and other adults to whom they are encouraged to prepare for their future jobs fitting their genders. So they people, I mean teachers or the parents or they prepare them differently for the future role they have to play in the society. Boys are more often allowed freedom to experiment and to participate in physical risky activities. So uh, boys are giving more freedom to experiment and participate in the activities which are physically or more risky, or they are more like they expose to the more risks, whereas the girls are encouraged to learn how to domestic task and to participate in child rearing for the baby sitting. So you know this is like according to uh, this article or this research, and these observations, uh, if the children do not follow these traditional path, they are often labeled as marginal and even deviant. But some people, some kids are not following, those instructions, or they are not doing exactly what they are told to do, especially in the gender-based differentiations. So they rebel, or they do something. So sometimes girls may be called tomboys and boys may be ridiculed for non being sufficient masculine. So it happens when they don't follow the traditional ways of gender-based behavior. So girls may be called the tomboy and the boys will be ridiculed that they are not much masculine. So after environment, let's see, are the personality formed by heredity traits? As some say that hereditary factor passed by our parents and ancestors to us are the main factor to one's personality. So some people say, or some researches are concluded that heredity mean things we are getting from our uh, parents or grandparents or the grandparents parents. So these are like coming in the in our heredity. It is like our anything else we get from our parents is like inheritance. So our personality is also part of that inheritance. The individual's talent or some other traits are just few example of these traits. Some hereditary factors that contribute to personality development do so as a result of interaction with the particular social environment in which people live. For instance, your genetically inherited physical and mental capabilities has an impact on how others see you and how you see yourself. So, some of your hereditary characteristics or traits also influence your personality when you are you are in a different environment. So with different heredity, same environment can affect you differently. uh, if you are poor motor skills that prevent you from throwing a straight ball, and if you regularly get bad grades in school, you will be very likely to be labeled by your teachers, friends, and relatives as someone who is inadequate or failure to some degree. So some of your genetic traits may uh, have a influence how the environment react toward you. So it is maybe genes, heredity is of developing your personality, but it will telling people, or it will be contributing toward personality development through other people. For example, if you are physically handicapped or slow, so that is maybe due to your genes. But when people start saying you that you are slow, or label you as a slow learner or slow mover, so you become like that. So you become like slow, and that will become part of your personality. So maybe it is the fact, not direct effect of your gene, but it is due to your genes you are getting this kind of environment or this kind of reaction from your environment. So this can become a self-fulfilling prophecy as you increasingly perceive yourself in that way and become more pessimistic about your capabilities and your future, like I explained. So this will discourage you more not taking actions or good behaviors, and it become like you become like a dull person, or you become like abnormal. So your genes are not as much contributing to your that disabilities, but environment is due to that slowness is environment is more influencing or creating that kind of situation for you, or you are creating that kind of personality traits in you. So let's see, is the genes that shapes a person's personality. Likewise, your health and physical appearance are likely to be very important in your personality development. So You may be frail or robust. You may be lazy, or you may be active, or you may be hyperactive. You may be have a learning disability. You may be have slender in a culture that considers obesity attractive, or vice versa. Sometimes maybe you are skinny, sometimes you are maybe fat or obese. So these kind of things, making in different societies have a different reaction. In some societies, if you are healthy, they will healthy mean you are a fat, you will be found, you will be attractive. If in some others, maybe you want to be very skinny. So your genes shapes your personality, but environment is also have influence. These largely hereditary factors are likely to cause you to feel that you are nice looking, ugly, or just adequate. So this kind of, in different societies, your body shape is developing your personality as well, but it depends upon the what are the normals of that particular society. Likewise, skin color, gender, and sexual orientation all are likely to have a major impact on how you perceive yourself. Whether you are accepted by others as being normal or abnormal can lead you to think that and act in a socially acceptable or even deviant way. So these all reaction, your physical, your genetic makeup will lead toward is normal or abnormal, the way you are leading or you're thinking about your life. And also sometimes you try to be act like as in an acceptable way, or sometimes you become deviant before from the situation. For example, in some society, you will people like skinny people, which is not very skinny. But if you want, if you are fat and you don't care about other people, so it is the different way of how you react to that situation, that environmental factor. So the next topic is after environment and heredity and gene. Let's see how the situations help or situation affect shaping your personal personality. So there are always unique situations and interpersonal events that help to shape our personality. So situations and interpersonal events help us, or help not us but help to create our develop our personality. If you are only child, you don't have to learn how to compromise as much as children. You have several siblings. Change chance of meetings and action may have a major impact on the rest of our lives and affects our personality. So this is another way of, if you have more chances of meeting people, or actions, doing actions. So these are the major impact of your our life. For instance, being accepted for admission to a prestigious university, or being in a right place at the right time to meet the person who will become your spouse or life partner can significantly alter the courses of rest of your life. So the chances you are getting, if you are getting better chances, your personality will become more positive, more progressive, and develop in a positive way. But if you don't, then maybe you become a negative personality, or your personality will be not as much developed as it should be. So for example, if you are getting a better job, or in a job in a better company, or accepting by in a top class or Ivy university, so that maybe help you develop your personality much in a better way. Similarly, being drafted into military during wartime, learning that you are adopted, or personally witnessing a tragic event can also change your personality. So any incident or accident in your life may also change your personality. So situational things, one time things can also change your life and change your personality and your thinking and your feelings. Home has a great bearing on the personality development of individual. Yes, home, where you are living, it is also a, have a great impact on your personality development or individuality. Parents' behavior and attitudes, their expectation from a child, their education and attention to child influence the child's personality. Also, schools plays a major environmental role in the personality. So, like home, parents and schools and teachers have a major role in developing your personality, or they have major impact on your personality. In school, a child in contact with the peers and teachers whose personality can be influencing. So you have two kind of set of people who are influencing you in schools. One is the school's environment. Its name is its environment plus what kind of teacher or administration is there and what kind of other students are there. So we are very for this reason we are very particular about where our children are going for education or in what kind of school those are. So these are the things that influence our personality development. So lastly is the conclusion of our discussion. There are many ways to see how a person individual personality can be shaped. Whether you believe a person is limited to their genetic makeup or you believe that environment can continue to mold a personality after conception, there is a strong case that environment does influence the personality. It is what we learn and see, live and experience the shape or the personality. So it is ultimately it is according to our discussion that environment is playing a major role in that. Of course, our genetic build up contribute to our personality development, but the major portion is where we are living, how the people and all the environment is the major impact on our personality development. So these are basically our today's our discussion. So I hope if you have any question, please let me know. I will be glad to answer those questions. Thank you.